Today, I want to entertain the question, are you in a cult? Now, why am I asking this question? I'm asking it because this word gets used so often that I believe the meaning of the word has been emptied. I'll give you an example. Last semester in my philosophy class, a student said Christianity is a cult. I just thought, well, if you say that, then you've just lost the meaning of the word cult. So I think we should be careful with defining terms. I would say that that's an act of semanticide, the murder of language. And when we murder language, we lose meaning. And when we lose meaning, we can't identify something that needs to be identified. So I would say a cult is probably a bad thing to be in, but perhaps sociologists disagree with me. I did a little research on, the internet, and it turns out cult is a pejorative term. It's like saying you're a racist. It's used as an ad hominem attack against a person when you don't have a good argument for what they believe in. Now, I would say that's typically how it's used today, but we can look at a cult as a reality and see what are the marks of a cult. I'm also bringing this up because I've heard this word used in the political realm, like following such and such person in politics is cult-like behavior, and I've heard it on the right and on the left. So what is a cult? Let's just read from Wikipedia again, really quickly. In modern English, a cult is a social group that is defined by its unusual religious, spiritual, or philosophical beliefs, or by its common interest in a particular personality, object, or goal. So unusual, and it's usually spiritual, philosophical. I'm going to add political as well. And it's also associated with deviant social practices and beliefs. Could be violent at times as well. So I'm thinking you should be on alert about cults, okay? Now, there's also a way we could look at them in terms of particular religions. So in Christianity, there have been anti-cult movements, and they want to show what some of the signs of being in a cult are, what are some of the marks of a cult. And so one of the signs of a cult is that they want to control what you think, okay? And that's why I'm bringing this up. It's in the context of thinking. And now the word brainwashing was used in the Wikipedia article I read, and that's also dehumanizing. The sociologists think that people make rational choices to be in a religious organization, and you shouldn't say that they're under mind control, because people can think for themselves. But sometimes we don't want to think for ourselves. We want someone else to do the thinking for us, and so we look to an authority figure to do the thinking for us. And that's also the mark of a cult, when a person becomes the authority. Now, how can we avoid this? We can look to the authority of reason, not a person. Now, back to the idea of a Christian cult, some of the other problems that have been noted is that either there's extra biblical material, things outside of the Bible that are added, that are necessary for salvation, or things that are taken away, taken out of the Bible, that you need to obey in order to be saved. So look for that, extra biblical or taking away from what is biblical. Now, how can you avoid that? Well, know what the historic creeds and confessions are and hold to historic biblical Christian faith if you're worried about being in a Christian cult. And another mark is controlling behavior. They want to control things like your living arrangements, your finances. So think about this. This is limiting your freedom. So a mark of a cult, mind control, not being able to think for yourself, bad doctrine, and controlling behavior, and sometimes an authoritative personality who's leading. So think critically about the communities you get involved with. And I'm saying this isn't just a religious thing, this is also political, and sometimes we want to belong, and we join a group to belong, and we don't realize what that group is all about. So think critically about the groups you get involved with, including, these political, causes. Sometimes it could be authoritative, and you need to think critically about who's leading you and what they're telling you to do, okay? So, how not to be in a cult. Number one, think critically. Think for yourself. Ask questions, okay? Don't commit to things that seem fishy. Go for the authority of reason. Reason is authoritative. If something is going against the laws of thought, don't join it, okay? And you're a rational being. You are free and you're responsible for using reason. You can't let someone else do the thinking for you. And then, if it's a Christian group, look to historic Christian creeds and confessions as your guide. That's orthodoxy, okay? And that needs to be your guide. All right, so what did we talk about today? I asked the question, are you in a cult? And I think we're using this word more than we ought to. I want to guard the meaning of the word. There are legitimate uses of the word cult, but we shouldn't use it as a pejorative, as an ad hominem. And you know what? Even if you think someone is in a cult, you should ask them questions. Why do you believe that? Help them to think, okay? And treat them as a rational being. Don't just put them in a box and write them off, okay? Maybe they need your help. All right, so what did we talk about? We talked about, are you in a cult? The marks of a cult, how not to be in a cult, okay? And if you appreciate this video, you think someone else might benefit from it, please like, subscribe, and share. And now I'm going to show you the dogs because they're here, right here. Hey guys, say hi.